Fluffy Hernandez. What do you want to do? What do you guys want to do here? What do you want to say about him? What do you want to say? He's now won 8 fights in a row. He's now a main event fighter. There's nowhere higher you can go than main event aside from title fight. When you win in a promotion, you go up. Where the hell is there to go? Where's there to go? Now, Hernandez is a gold mine marketing opportunity, but it's got to be done right. And it wouldn't kill me if he went absolutely silent. My fear is, much like you saw in the post-fight interview, he's in a good mood, he's in good spirits. It turns out like he's a nice, likable guy that just did something that made him proud of himself. I think we need to pull that back. I think we need to go on what people are going to believe when they just look at him, when they just read the book by the cover. Because that is the clearest, nastiest street fighter in the history of the UFC. Did you see the choke that he did? I mean, first off, do you understand how good Roman is? Delize, do you understand? And Anthony snatched him. He snatched him. This is the way a bouncer will drag a guy out of a bar. He'll come up top to get control of him, and he'll just walk him back to the door. And that's what Anthony did. He snatched the number 9 guy in the world. He just choked him out on his way and dropped him when he was done. The first time I saw Fluffy fight, he's locked in a cage. He's a lamb. He's a lamb that got led to slaughter. He gets locked in there with Kevin Lee. Kevin had fought for world championships. And Anthony's new. But that was the night. I saw him and go, my goodness, I'll never forget this guy. What a performance. And then he got better over time. He's now weaponizing pace. His conditioning is now a weapon. And that's not something you can say about street fighters. In fact, there's two that you could turn to that had major success. And the reason the other ones didn't have success, even if they were fun to watch, is because they couldn't hold up. Two from boxing be Mike Tyson, and moreover, in a comparison to Anthony, is Roberto Duran. If you followed boxing and you remember Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez is MMA's version, and the one MMA guy that was just a straight-up street fighter, but he made it work and was able to have the conditioning to go along with just that toughness, was Robbie Lawler. And I am putting Hernandez in that category. I am putting Anthony Hernandez alongside Mike Tyson, alongside Roberto Duran, alongside Robbie Lawler. And Hernandez has not lost a fight since 2021. It's 8 fights in a row, but he was a young kid. Like, there's times in life when you get a redo. There just is. No matter what you did in high school, when you come across that stage and get that diploma, it's over. You could have been a troubled kid. You could have been suspended. You could have been the kid in detention. Nope, it's over. Those, in fact, become cute, funny stories. Hey, remember when he used to get suspended all the time? Look at him now. Same thing happens if you go through the military and come out. You go through college and you come out. Same thing happens the day that you get married. There's these redos. And he was very young. He's a young guy now. So if you're going to back this tape up 8 fights, which takes you to 2021, he would have been about 27 years old. He's only 31 now. I believe Tom Aspinall is 31 now. I mean, just for perspective. So what do you want to do with him? Because there is something missing. Like, we can't just throw him into a world title fight. And that's some of the headlines today, but people are drunk on the excitement, and that's going to calm down. And by Wednesday or Thursday of this week, that talk will be gone. And the news cycle will start up, and by this time next week, we're going to be talking about the pay-per-view, and we won't even be talking about Fluffy Hernandez, but we still have the same problem. What do you want to do now? And Daniel Cormier associated him with DeRenner and said, hey, get him in there with DeRenner. He's got 8 in a row, and DeRenner's got a whole bunch in a row, and Hernandez just, it was 10 versus 9, and it was a main event, and he and RDR are going to be pretty close. And I heard it, and I believe Daniel actually got that from Hernandez. Now, prior to me hearing that from Daniel, I read a piece, and the author of the piece was putting him in there, talking about Hernandez still, putting him in there with Adesanya. And that's a very different look. That would be the name that he would need. But it's a very different look. If you just look at, the last few fights, you got DeRenner, who's not lost in his time in the UFC. And Adesanya, who could be higher ranked, I would have to look at that, but he could still be. He would be right there with DeRenner. They might flip 1-5, 1-7, something along these lines. And it's very interesting. I'm not against it. I don't know that he's going to get the Izzy fight, and I don't know that Izzy needs to put himself in a position to do favors. I feel that Izzy is something special. He's in a special place, but he earned that place. RDR, as great as he looks, is still new. He's won 4 UFC fights, just for example. So for Hernandez to just barely be separate 2-3 spots in the rankings, but to be able to bring in an 8-fight win streak, RDR, what was the biggest thing that he did in his last fight? Because it wasn't beat Robert Whittaker. The biggest thing that he did is win a main event. That's the same thing that Fluffy just did. As you start to look at that, you start to see where there's a level of sense to be made for that. And I'm not there yet. I don't think that you guys are there yet. I think I'm close. I think I'm making some sense. But I don't know that I'm there yet. So, who would you put him with? I don't believe you're going to put him for a title fight, so please don't say that. The people that are saying title fight, I know what you mean. You're trying to compliment him. You're trying to acknowledge the win streak since 2021. You're trying to acknowledge that 8 in a row is a hell of a lot. You're trying to acknowledge the worst that anybody's ever done in UFC history was Merab, who had to do 10 in a row. So he's close, isn't he? Be very hard to deny him if he wins another one. But who would that one be against? Because don't forget, you got to take into consideration what I just said. It's likely going to be his number 1 contenders match. So it's got to be the right guy. Tell me, who is the right guy for Fluffy Hernandez?